Hello, welcome to the Unstoppable Numerator Show. And today, what I'm going to be talking about is IndyCar racing today. And today is October 20th, 2011. I was in my basement Sunday and with my dad and my wife cleaning my basement, and I've got an email from IndyCar Racing from ESPN, right? And I checked it, and it said 15 car wreck. One is going to the hospital with injuries. Dan Weldon. He is 33 years old. He passed away on Sunday. They announced it. He died. He left his wife. He might have had kids, or he might have had a kid on his way. Now, he was 33 again, if I didn't say how old he was. Even though, if you guys didn't see what happened, I will show you what happened. I have a video. I taped it on ESPN Monday morning. I taped it. ESPN, the only sports channel that was talking about it. ESPN 2 was talking about freaking football. The others, like Nesson, they were talking about the Patriots. Channel 26, home of the Boston Celtics, were talking about other shit. Really. About Patriots too. Who gives a damn? Talking about the IndyCar racing. God damn it. So here we go. Here's a video that I'll be showing you.
Welcome to Sports Center alongside Steve Levy.
If you can't hear it, hold on.
Instead of starting the program with the joy of what sports brings us all, we have to begin with sadness.
Linda, Week 6 in the NFL and Game 6 of the NLCS will have to wait as IndyCar suffers its first fatality since 2006. Indianapolis 500 winner Dan Weldon died Sunday in a lap 11 crash at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Marty Reed reports.
When race day began at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, it was full of high hopes and high expectations. After all, we were going to crown a champion. Would it be Dario Franchitti for the third year in a row and fourth time overall? Or would Will Power be able to deny him that title? And Danica Patrick, scheduled to make her final scheduled IndyCar ride. And of course, Dan Weldon, starting 34th and last in the field. A chance to win $5 million if he can win the race. How he got there? Well, that's because 5 months earlier, he won the Indianapolis 500, crossing the yard of bricks before everyone else in the field and getting to taste that oh-so-sweet milk for the second time in his illustrious career. And as race day started on Sunday, everything looked great. 34 cars coming to the green flag. And early, we saw 3 and even 4 wide racing. But by the time we got to lap 11, turn 2, watch a third of the way back in the field, one car gets loose, and then everything erupts. 15 total cars, several of them getting into the catch fence, including Dan Weldon in the number 77. From a slow-mo angle, take a look. The first car will be J.R. Hildebrand getting airborne. The second car coming into view is that of Dan Weldon. And unfortunately, the way he hit the catch fence was the wrong way. And 2 hours later, the head man of IndyCar, Randy Bernard, gave us the news that we all feared.
IndyCar is very sad to announce that Dan Weldon has passed away from unsurvivable injury. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family today. IndyCar, its drivers and team owners, has decided to end the race. In honor of Dan Weldon, the drivers have decided to do a 5-lap salute in his honor. It will take place in approximately 10 minutes. Thank you.
Along with former drivers Eddie Cheever and Scott Goodyear, guys, this is not just a loss for IndyCar. This is a loss for auto racing.
It'll be felt throughout the whole motorsport community, Marty, and simply because as race drivers we know every time that we get into the car, either for a test or for a race, we may not come back. But when it happens, we feel it go all the way through the community. And today, we lost Dan Weldon in a race that he was hoping to win, Eddie.
And you're right. Every time a driver straps himself into a car, he knows that death is lurking someplace in the shadows, and you work very hard to make sure the circumstances do not turn against you. Today they did, and they turned against Dan, and he's no longer here.
When the news broke to the drivers, the anguish could be seen vividly. That's Tony Kanaan, Marco Andretti, former teammates, and Dario Franchitti. Don't ever say drivers don't have emotions. And then the tribute laps, 5 in all, with the number 77 at the top of the scoring pylon, and everyone from all the race teams lining pit lane. The drivers talked about their feelings at the end of the 5 laps.
Oh, we're all very sad. He's a friend of all of us. And he'll be missed. And I just feel for his family.
I'm angry, I'm sad, so many things. I felt everything was wrong, and I don't know, just you know, I'm gonna remember really good things from him at Indy, and you know, he's my little brother from another mother, and I don't know, can't believe it, that's all.
He was one of my best friends and one of my greatest teammates back in the day, and you know, we don't think about this, Rick. We race car drivers, we got to block this possibility, and unfortunately when it happens, it's really hard. So
days like today, you're like, is it worth it? No, absolutely not. But it's what we push each other, we push ourselves, we push our team to win these races and championships, and it's what drives us forward, man. It's what we love. And then you see that happening to Dan, and you just go, you know what, it doesn't matter.
And this will be the way that all of us will remember Dan Weldon at the race he loved and cherished so much, drinking the milk in Victory Lane. Dan Weldon was 33.
Jeff Belskis, who is the president and CEO of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Corporation, released the following statement, quote, "We are incredibly saddened at the passing of Dan Weldon. He was a great champion of the Indianapolis 500 and a wonderful ambassador for the race, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and all of motorsports. Most importantly, he was a fantastic husband, father, and man, a good friend to so many in the sport. His memory will live forever at the Speedway, both through the magnitude of his accomplishments on the track and his magnetism off the track. Our deepest sympathies are extended to his entire family, team, and fans."
We mentioned earlier this was the first racing fatality in the IndyCar series since 2006 when Paul Dano was killed in a practice crash at Homestead Miami Speedway. That's a race Dan Weldon actually went on to win.
Wow. 5 years later, what could have been a day of celebration in Las Vegas instead was only tragic with the passing of Dan Weldon. Said Chip Ganassi, Weldon's former car owner, everybody in IndyCar died a little Sunday. Jeremy Schaap has more.
If he hadn't been so talented behind the wheel of cars that raced over 200 miles per hour, Dan Weldon might have been a professional wit or comedic actor. He was funny. Not funny for a great race car driver, just funny. In a sports landscape no longer populated by big personalities, but by armies of media-trained robots, Wheldon was a throwback to the glory days of open-wheel racing, when drivers like Mario Andretti, A.J. Foyt, and Al Unser stalked the track and gobbled up news film. He could delight with his English accent and expert timing.
Well, you just walked away there in that final 25 lap.
And I'm glad you think I walked away with it. It was pretty tough.
Of course, there was nothing funny about the career Wheldon pursued so well, or the manner in which he pursued it. It's been said that auto racing and boxing are the only real sports, because the specter of death hangs over them, and everything else is a game. Like everyone else in his chosen profession, Wheldon knew the risks, and routinely defied them. Wheldon grew up on road courses in Great Britain, but achieved greatness on the ovals of North America. One oval in particular, the one that matters most. At the 2005 Indy 500, Wheldon, at the time 26 years old, became the first Englishman to win the race since Graham Hill in 1966, driving in a car co-owned by Mike